Hi, this is Pam East and welcome to my new studio. All of my previous studios have grown really organically, and as a result, it's always trying to wedge things in and make things work. This time we built from the ground up and I was able to plan it out, which was really exciting. So I knew exactly the kinds of areas that I wanted. I'm going to take you inside and show you around, and let's go take a look. So here's the front door, and this is just going to be an overview of the whole space. And when I moved from Georgia to Washington, I had to downsize. I had 800 square feet in Georgia, and then here in Washington, I only had 400. So going from 800 to 400 is a big change. So I got rid of a lot of stuff. I really thought about what I used and what I didn't use. And I downsized a lot. I got rid of things that seemed like a good idea at the time, but really, I never really used them. And I got rid of the inventory. I'm no longer going to sell a lot of inventory. But the big thing was this, which was the DreamBox. This is a DreamBox by Create Room, and that really is an efficient storage space. I'll be showing that to you later. And then this also has a loft. And the loft is for long-term storage. That's where I put teaching tools and supplies and certain kinds of materials that I just don't get into very often. And I do have a ladder to get up in there. However, it goes away when I'm not using it, so it's not in the middle of my room. This is my wet area. This is where I do anything that has to do with water. So I've got a nice Formica countertop, and I've got these base cabinets. We chose to go with drawers rather than cabinet doors, and they're full extension, and that lets me get to things a lot easier than digging around under a cabinet. And I've got all my various dishes and things that I use when I'm doing wet processing. I do have a sink. It is a cold water only sink. It was going to cost a lot of money to bring hot water into the studio, so I opted to just get a cold water sink, and then we added a hot tap. So I do have a hot tap for when I want to do patinas or anything like that, and that has a little heating unit underneath the sink, and rather than piping it in from the hot water heater. The other thing I have under the sink is can you pan down just for a second? The other thing I have under the sink is a clay trap. This is a Glaco clay trap. It's used in ceramics for catching clay before it goes down the sink, because that's not a good thing. Heavy items sink, water floats, and it works just as well for glass. So when I'm doing enameling and what have you, that will prevent glass from getting into my sewer system. I'm actually on septic here, so it's even worse. I do not want any of that garbage getting in there. I also have some screens in the sink, and I try really hard not to let glass go down the sink, but if it does, it's going to get caught up in that clay trap. And then those little jars are replaceable. The rest of my wet equipment, I've got my tumblers. I've got a tumbler up there, a tumbler here, and my jewel tool. And then these are what I use for grinding and polishing enamels. And you should pan over just a little bit. This is called a drum arbor, and it has a water feed system, and I've got a diamond wheel on one side and then an expansion belt on the other where I can put different grit belts on it. This also has a water feed system. This is a belt sander. And between these items, I'm able to do I'm able to speed up enamel polishing a lot. So that is my wet equipment. Now this will have a water drip system. We haven't hung it yet, but this fills with water, and then there's tubes that come down and feed the water into the devices, so the water is dripping directly onto the belts. When I had the studio built, I had them put in 18 feet of built-in workbenches. This is for my big equipment, my kilns and my bench polisher. I also have a handler filtration system. It's not installed yet, but it'll be going here. And I don't know if you can see it. Let's go ahead and pan it. I have an exhaust fan over this area for venting if I'm doing something that's creating smoke or something like that. And that is a powered system. And boy, it's got a big recycle on it, so it changes out the air, I don't know, every 20 times a minute or something like that. And then I've got these shelves up here, so all of my attachments for my bench polisher are in easy reach. And over here I've got all of the accessories for my kiln on the shelves underneath. And this is my equipment area. It's also my sound area. I have my amplifier, and then I've got Bose speakers up in the corner so I can like blast music in here. It's very fun. Oh, before we go on, I also want to point out my beautiful pendant lamps, my stained glass pendant lamps. There is a story behind those. Steve and I went out for a walk one day, and there were these 3 pendant lamps sitting out by the side of the road with a sign on them that said free. And we snatched those puppies up and brought them back, and now I have them in my studio, and I absolutely love them. They're just beautiful. With the studio downsize, one of the challenges was finding places to put things without having wall space. I can't have everything just facing out. I don't have enough wall space for that. However, we've got around that with a couple of these husky drawers that you can get. I think we get them at Home Depot. They weren't very expensive. And this is nice. I can just, when I want to use my hydraulic press or my bench vise or something, I can just roll this out. And all of the accessories for this are in the cabinet. So like the chop is all of my various hammers, and then the next one down has all of my pancake dies that go with my hydraulic press, and then down here I've got all of my various anvils and dapping blocks. So any hammering or dapping or anything I'm doing over here is all done at this station, so I can just pull out the whole station when I need it. The other one is set up, oh, bang, bang, bang. Fortunately, they're husky and they're gonna hold up well. This one is for photography, so you know, I always wanted to have a photographic station set up where I can photograph my work. And I don't want to take that down and get it out all the time. I want it just ready to go at all times. And we're going to be attaching lights to the side of this that are going to come in from the side of the light tent. They are not attached yet. We have them, but we have to get them attached. And then all of my camera and video equipment are in these drawers. So like the top one is, you know, this is my photography props, and here's the little brush fan I use to position chains. And, you know, then down here I've got my lighting equipment and my HDMI, which is how I hook up when I'm doing Twitch. And this drawer is all sound equipment, and the bottom is all my video cameras and such. So this is my photography and video station that we set up for the studio. So this is my metalsmithing area, and starting, you know, kind of reading from, what do we got, right to left here. This is the ladder that goes up into my loft. So I do have a loft, and when I'm not getting in and out of it, I just keep the ladder over here so it's not in the middle of my studio. This set of shelves is for extra equipment. I've got torches and burners and airbrushes and various things. I also like storing all of my sandpapers and my wire in these pocket folders. It makes a really convenient way to keep it stored neatly so it doesn't get tangled up, and I can get right to what I want right away. This is my jeweler's bench, and we put all of the little accessories for my flex shaft in these little drawers up above. And that's Portia, the studio dog that just wandered out. And her little bed is under there, so she's out of the way. But I will tell you that when I am, pick her up, Steve, so she doesn't click. When I am using my workbench, I do move her bed somewhere else. I am not doing jeweler bench work with a dog underneath me. I wouldn't want that stuff drifting down on her. And then I just have a little extra workspace over here with my dehydrator for my metal clay work and various miscellaneous stuff. Okay, so this is actually the most important wall in my studio. This is where almost everything happens. And it's the reason that I could downsize from 800 square feet down to 400 square feet. Well, I got rid of a lot of stuff too, but this is the most compact storage you will ever see in your life. Before I start opening it up, I want to show you that I have these shelves on the wall. I didn't want wasted space behind the doors of the DreamBox. I wanted that to be usable space. So what I keep on those shelves are things that I don't get in and out of as often. I get in and out of it often enough that I did not want it up in the loft. The loft is more long-term storage. But the stuff I use the most is inside the cabinet. And let me go ahead and start opening it up for you. And this thing is amazing. This is a DreamBox. It comes from createroom.com. And the first time I saw this, I had to clear the drool out of my keyboard. I wanted it so bad, and we got it when we moved here. And so I'm opening it partway. Oh, and these shelves, I didn't mention, the shelves are tiered. This part of the shelves that I just covered up, those are only 6 inches deep so that this door will fit. This shelf is 15 inches deep because this doesn't fold out quite so far back. So I got the maximum amount of shelf space behind the doors that I could manage. So I've got all my rulers and my cutting mats cut over here. I've got a whiteboard over here so I can keep track of projects or what other kind of notes I want to keep. And then I'll talk about the middle after I get it all the way open. So now here's the rest of it. And so it opens all the way out, 180 degrees. And this is the storage space. And in the middle is the work table. So I can open this up and fold down these legs. And now I have a place to work. This side is my metal clay side. So over here I've got all my templates and my stamps, my molds. I've got, all the tools that I use all the time for metal clay. And on this side I have my enamels and my enameling tools. So I've got it segregated by what I'm going to be doing. And I was able to get a working amount of all of my enamels onto these shelves. So I've got these wonderful little shallow shelves that are just filled with these beautiful enamels, and I can get right to whatever I want. I also have my most used reference materials are in the middle here, and I've got a spot down the side here where I've got my color charts. So if I want to look at my enamels and colors, I've got it all in here. And those are my test strips. And I've got 3 books of those. And it has a light. So it's got a really nice little, very bright LED light. It's kind of like an OT light that's built in. It gives me good light on my work surface. And it doesn't stop there. I needed a little more workspace than this. So I also, let me move my chair over. So this is called the DreamBox, and I also got what's called the Dream Cart. And this is the Dream Cart. And I created a space for it in my shelving. And it folds out to create a nice table. It's on wheels. And so now I could have this facing sideways with my doors open on a nice day. I can have it behind me. I can position it wherever I want it. And underneath it, it has additional storage. There's more of these storage bins. When I start doing my videos again. Those of you who have watched my videos, you all remember my brick background that I had on my videos. Well, that's gone. That stayed at the old studio. This is where I will be filming my videos moving forward. So you'll be seeing my DreamBox behind me. This will be my work area, and this is where I'll be doing my instructional videos. And that's it. This is my studio. If you have questions for me, you can put them in the comments, and I'll talk to you soon.